MJ2kALLDAY mit einem neuen Hit. Abfahrt. Ja, Bulls gerade leider nur 11 und Golden State Warriors finden sich gerade wieder, aber auch nicht so hoch, Digga, sind auch nicht so dabei. Ja, hätte auch keiner gedacht. Absolut wilde Season. Habt ihr das gehört, wo der Coach von Ben Simmons gesagt hat, er weiß nicht mehr, was er mit ihm machen soll? Und dann aufgezählt hat, dass man ihn ja nicht in der Defense spielen kann, weil er dann zu langsam ist, weil zu schnell Leute dann kommen, weil man ihn nicht in der Offense spielen kann, neben den anderen Twin Tower, weil dann zu viele Leute in der Zone sind. Also im Endeffekt hat er einfach nur gesagt, auf gut Deutsch, dass er Ben Simmons nicht spielen kann.
These two can't be the same player. These clips are 4 years apart. And in those 4 years, Ben Simmons has not only regressed, he's become a liability. To the point that the Nets coach Jacques Vaughn couldn't even figure out where to put Ben and said,
Digga, ja, genau das.
Next to Ben, then you got to figure out what the spacing is around him. Then if you put a playmaker next to him, then you got to figure out what Ben looks like without the basketball. Then if you go small with Ben, then you got to figure out, can you rebound enough with him? All right, so the challenges are ahead of us.
Wait, he pretty much just said that Ben is trouble everywhere, and why wouldn't he be? His scoring average has dropped from 16.9 points from his rookie year to 6.9 now. Heck,
ja. 10 Punkte weniger von seiner Rookie-Season oder seinen ersten beiden Seasons. Absolut wild, Digga. Leider no confidence, Ben Simmons, da hast du auch vollkommen recht, Digga, aber das kannst du eigentlich nicht bringen als jemand, der der erste Draft-Pick war, Rookie of the Year wurde, brutale Playoffs gespielt hat und dann auf einmal so abstürzt, Digga. Das kannst du halt eigentlich nicht machen. Oder vor allem ist es eigentlich so einfach geregelt. Er muss einfach lernen, wie er Freiwürfe wirft. Er muss ja nicht mal vernünftig werfen können, er muss einfach nur Freiwürfe können. Dann könnte man ihn schon viel, viel besser einsetzen.
Look next. He's averaging more fouls than field goals made. And at this point, Vaughn is even singling out Ben for not being prepared. I mean, man hit the MJ shrug to the Philly crowd after hitting 2 free throws in the first quarter. That might tell you where we at. And now reports are coming out that they're shutting down Ben for the season? Might just be rumors, but the fact that they're believable, yeah, the situation is bad. And perhaps
die wollen Ben Simmons die ganze Season nicht mehr einsetzen, weil sie einfach nicht wissen, wie sie den hinstellen sollen. Das ist wild, Digga. Ja, das kann auch keine. Was?
Worst part, Ben Simmons is earning $37+ million for the next 2 years. When he signed it, it was supposed to be a good contract. So whether you like it or not, Ben is here. But there's no indication of him getting better. He's admitted that he needs to shoot more, but it's almost as if he's lost.
Was er aber auch für Shots nimmt.
And want to shoot better, subscribe, because over 75% of you aren't. Thanks. Even before he was drafted, there were problems. One scouting report said to look out for the lack of competitiveness, that he doesn't care about winning. Rather, if things aren't all about him, he becomes upset. And it was visible even when he was an all-star. We chose to ignore the mentality because of potential. Look at these highlights. What happened to this Ben Simmons? My friend said that they really put Ben Simmons on Giannis highlights and thought we wouldn't notice. Ben Simmons needs to change, and the NBA's patience for him is running thin. What is up, dudes, cadets, ballers, players? It's your boy MJ. Ben is unable to meaningfully impact the game. He went from being a valuable trade asset just a year and a half ago to mysteriously sitting on the bench all of last season with some serious drip. He did get traded for Harden. The Nets got fleeced. He said the big three would be scary. Yeah, he's right. This new big three might be, but Ben, you're not even part of it. And that original big three did not have faith in you.
Help me!
And just when we thought we were about to
Ja, so viele Clips gesehen, wo Kyrie oder Kevin Durant einfach Ben Simmons angeschrien haben, weil er einfach nichts gemacht hat.
See the Ben Simmons of old, after coming off an entire season rested, he came out looking like he forgot how to play basketball.
Ja, Mann, ohne Spaß. 1 Jahr lang weg, Digga. Normalerweise müssten alle sagen, Bruder, jetzt bist du so frisch, wie du noch nie in die NBA gekommen bist, Digga. Weil davor ist er auch im Endeffekt aus dem College gekommen und hat die ganze Zeit Basketball gespielt. Aber er ist einfach schlechter geworden, Digga.
He's 26 years old, supposed to be nearly entering his prime.
Ja, er sollte bald in seine Prime erst reinkommen, Digga. Und jetzt hat er schon gar keinen Basketball-IQ mehr.
While we see this current version of Ben, it's easy to forget that just a few short years ago, he was
Digga, das ist doch nicht normal.
so many fans and pundits as one of the best players under 25. With the
Ich habe auch das Gefühl, er hat einfach gar nicht mehr dieses Ballhandling, was er damals
Likes
hatte.
of future MVPs Nikola Jokic and Giannis. And that's after Ben Simmons entered the NBA as one of the best college prodigies of his generation. An Aussie with elite ambidextrous capabilities, sneaky quickness, fast twitch athleticism, and the ability to play all 5 positions on both ends of the court. Now that's rare. At least that's what everyone thought. But Simmons felt himself that he was born to play the point guard position because he was so great going coast to coast. Saying, transition for sure, getting the rebound and going, that's probably the most fluid part of my game. I feel more comfortable running the point because I know I can lead a team and take control of games. Man was even shooting jumpers. And there were comparisons between
was für Jumper, Digga.
Man was even shooting jumpers.
Oha, Digga, das war ja wirklich ein Fade.
And there were comparisons between him and LeBron and Magic. They only grew louder and louder. At 6'10", 225, he had the body and transition capabilities of a Magic Johnson with athleticism more like LeBron. Yeah, the expectations were set. The Sixers take him, and the process is on its way. Do you remember how many lottery picks the Sixers had in a 5-year stretch? Nerlens Noel, Michael Carter-Williams, Joel Embiid, Sarge, Okafor, Simmons, Fultz. Embiid really the only one that panned out, huh? Simmons sits down.
Ja, ohne Spaß, Digga. So viel Lottery-Picks, Digga. Wie viel waren davon 1? Warte mal. Joel Embiid auf jeden Fall Nummer 1. Okafor weiß ich nicht. Ich glaube, der wurde an 2. gedraftet. Ben Simmons auf jeden Fall mit 1, Digga. Das ist irgendwie 5 oder so. Auch 2 und 3, glaube ich. Und Markel Fultz auch Nummer 1, Digga. Also haben die 3 Nummer 1 Picks gehabt und nur einer von denen hat funktioniert. Müssen wir noch ein bisschen Gedanken machen, wie das Young Talent Coaching bei den Philadelphia 76ers aussieht.
Simmons sits down his first year with injury like nearly all 76ers rookies.
Es sind aber auch schwierige Dinger gewesen. Markel Fultz hat einfach auch vergessen zu shooten, weil er einen Motorradunfall hatte und Ben Simmons konnte noch nie shooten. Und lustigerweise haben NBA-Teams das auch erst realisiert, als er in die Playoffs gekommen ist, Digga. Weil davor hat es immer noch funktioniert.
Official rookie season, it was something else. 12 triple-doubles, the most triple-doubles in a season by a rookie, the highest win shares among rookies, second in the entire NBA in both defensive win shares and defensive plus-minus, and a 32-point, 18 rebound, 15 assists, 6 steal game versus LeBron's Cavs towards the end of the season.
What the fuck?
This is the Ben Simmons we remember and the bar we hold him to. In his first playoff appearance paired with Joel Embiid, Simmons looked like every bit of what he was destined to become by averaging 18, 11, and 9 on 50% shooting in a 5-game gentleman sweep of the Miami Heat. And even in the following round when the Sixers ran into a disciplined and veteran Boston Celtics team, Ben was alright, not great, but okay, scoring 14 per game on 48% shooting. He was aggressive, but this is where his lack of shooting for the first time in his career was really becoming justified. What worked against a mediocre team like the Heat at the time did not work against a tough-minded Celtics team that knew how to play defense.
Ja, das ist das Ding. Boston Celtics sind halt auch schlau. Zumindest der Trainer Steph.
Knew when to collapse the defense because Simmons wasn't a threat in the least bit outside of 7 or 8 feet from the basket, which oftentimes led to a cluttered lane, which killed so much of Philly's offensive rhythm, especially with Joel Embiid. It's one of, if not the reason why Simmons and Embiid were always an awkward pairing. Embiid and Simmons often forced the other guy out of the paint because you can't have nearly 2 7-foot-tall guys eating up space inside. It's not 1990. And that was the theme of Simmons' earlier years in the NBA. Productive and skilled all around, but he took all of 11 3-pointers in his rookie season and no real chemistry with Embiid. The following season was almost the same.
Aber dass er überhaupt 13 Dreier versucht hat in seiner ersten Season, finde ich wild.
He was amongst the leaders in steals, defensive plus-minus, and made his first All-Star team, but somehow shot fewer threes at 6, which again worked in the first round against a mediocre team like the pre-Kyrie KD Brooklyn Nets and his nemesis Jared Dudley, but didn't work so much in the next round against the eventual champion Toronto Raptors. Just look at Simmons' first 2 postseasons side by side. You can see the considerable drop-off in Simmons' production in later rounds versus the first round, and it reflected how smarter, tougher teams would exploit Simmons' lack of shooting and made Philly a one-dimensional team offensively. Suddenly, everyone was coming to the conclusion that Simmons and Embiid cannot coexist and Philly should trade one or the other. And then
ja, und das ist das Schlimme daran, damals haben so viele Leute gesagt, dass sie Joel Embiid traden sollen. Obwohl es ganz klar im Raum stand, Ben Simmons muss weg. Digga, das habe ich nicht verstanden, Bruder. Ehrlich nicht. Da habe ich mich auch damals so doll drüber aufgeregt, dass alle meinten, Joel Embiid muss weg, der muss weg, das geht nicht. Ben Simmons ist der Beste, dies, das. Ja, sieht man ja heute.
There were entire reports about Simmons and Embiid not even getting along off the court. And we'd see the off-season videos of Ben taking pull-up threes in pickup. But then it would be a celebration for Ben for just attempting a three in game. There was some sort of mental block. Shooting jumpers just wasn't meant for Ben. Simmons might have even been shooting with the wrong hand. If you remember, the Sixers pushed the Kawhi Raptors to 7 games.
Ja, Digga, okay, bei Jimmy Butler aber auch dabei
Mainly
war.
because they also had Jimmy Butler, who had great chemistry with Embiid. Simmons, on the other hand, had enough of their success. Butler would run a lot more of their offensive sets and need the ball in his hands. Even Butler found it weird how eager the Sixers were to take the ball out of Ben's hands and give it to him. Their usage rate in the regular season was nearly identical, but in the playoffs, while Butler's usage went up to 22.7, Simmons's fell to 16.3, and Ben wasn't okay with that. That's tough. He was frustrated playing off ball. At least that's what Embiid said.
We got rid of Jimmy, which I think it was a mistake. He needed the ball in his hand.
Yup, Simmons forced the Sixers to choose between him and Butler,
Um dann ein Jahr später einfach selber wegzugehen.
even when no one was defending Ben with the ball.
Alter.
I wanted to use Ben Simmons and Sober to sponsor today's video. Scratch that, he's not even playing. But you get 20 free comment cards when you sign up. You'll get why Sixers got rid of Butler, even though that was the best version of the Sixers we had seen.
Ja, Mann, ohne Spaß, Alter. Wäre Jimmy Butler immer noch heute bei den 76ers, könnte man darüber mal diskutieren, ob die nicht vielleicht sogar eine Championship mittlerweile gewonnen hätte.
So now, in his 3rd year, you would think that Ben would take that big step, especially since the widely recognized phenomenon known as the leap happens in your 3rd year. Look at Tatum going from 15.7 points per game to 23.7 in his 3rd year. Tyrese Halliburton became an all-star in his 3rd year. And well, Ben went from 16.9 points, 7.7 assists to 16.4 points per game and 8 assists while attempting 7 threes?
Nope.
Okay, but at least he's taking mid-ranges this season, right? I mean, oh, he's only taken 16 the entire
Die ganze Season muss man auch mal bedenken, ne?
season. Never mind. Simmons had some back issues towards the end of the season, and Embiid was out here trying to solo squad in 2020 playoffs to no avail.
Komm, Rückenschmerzen schön und gut, Digga. Fühl dich halt auch, aber das hält dich doch nicht davon ab, gar nicht mehr zu spielen.
And in his 4th year,
Wann muss man bei deinem Big Releasen? Ich habe very late, ne? Ich release dann immer, wenn er, also im Endeffekt, ja, wenn er gerade anfängt den Ball, also im Endeffekt, wenn die Hand so ganz gerade steht, so, ne? Wenn er wirft, geht er so ein bisschen nach hinten, wenn er wirft, im Endeffekt, wenn die Hand gerade steht. Aber wenn du da Early benutzt, Digga, dann musst du halt im Endeffekt, nur wenn der Ball oben ist, dann kannst du sofort loslassen. Early ist der Jumpshot halt automatic, Digga.
Ben averaged 14.3 points. But Simmons was out here making a new identity, being a versatile defender and making his own case, like that game against the Utah Jazz in 2021 after Rudy Gobert thought he deserved the Defensive Player of the Year over Simmons, to which Simmons responded by saying, "I'm one of those guys that can guard 1 through 5. The confidence was there.
It's a mismatch nearly every time when I step on the floor.
Doc Rivers came in to coach. The Sixers had championship veterans in Dwight Howard and Danny Green. They were the number 1 seed. And yes, Simmons was a really good defender, able to stop perimeter guards, 2-time first-team All-Defense.
Der war wirklich am Anfang nicht schlecht, was die als Defender angeht, aber, das habe ich auch schon immer kritisiert, Ben Simmons hat immer nur die Plays gemacht, die er auch wirklich vor sich gesehen hat, Digga. Wenn er nicht genau, also wenn er nicht im Endeffekt mit so Leuchttafeln so angezeigt wird, der Block, Digga, dann holt er sich den noch nicht.
With bigs down low, even if Giannis was babying him, I mean, Simmons would come back and dunk it here. These quotes came after Simmons went for a 42-point triple-double with 5 steals. But that was without Embiid playing, which only adds to all the talk of trade Embiid, trade... But that was...
Was ist das für eine Kette, Digga? Ach du Scheiße.
Without Embiid playing, which only adds to all the talk of trade Embiid, trade Ben, keep both, kept going on. But again, we weren't seeing that sort of dog on the court often enough for all the talk Ben is doing. Getting stars kicked off the team, being on a similar level to Embiid, and also. But all that talk is quickly gonna disappear. Embiid, and also. But all that talk.
Das ist der Moment, der seine komplette NBA-Karriere geändert hat. Ja. Brudi, wir machen alle mal Fehler, Diggi, aber man braucht es wirklich nicht übertreiben, Digga.
Is quickly gonna disappear. Look at Embiid's reaction. The Sixers did not disappear. Look at Embiid's reaction. The Sixers did not handle it well. They were expected to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that possession was the breaking point. Because in every fourth quarter in a 7-game series, Simmons refused to shoot. He hurt their spacing more than ever. In that series, Simmons averaged 9.9 points and 8.6 assists. This was the 3rd time in his career that Simmons went MIA in a playoff series. He was historically awful from the free throw line, looked scared to shoot the ball, couldn't back down guys that were like a foot shorter than him, and couldn't even guard Trae Young. The whole defensive player of the year talk, yeah, nothing. And he became a huge late game liability.
Du konntest ihn halt später einfach nicht spielen, weil die Leute wussten, dass er nicht seine Freiwürfe trifft und haben sie ihn mit Absicht einfach gefoult.
After the Hawks started employing the hack-a-bench strategy that led to Simmons shooting an atrocious 34% from the free throw line.
Doc, do you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now.
Doc Rivers weiß sowieso nicht viel, was immer sein Team sagt.
I think I know who the Sixers are going to trade. It was really that bad. To make matters worse, when I thought they couldn't even get any worse, Ben Simmons gave the most Ben Simmons response to his performance against Atlanta. I ain't shoot well from the line this series. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. He also said that offensively, he wasn't there. That he didn't do enough for his teammates, that there was a lot to work on. Okay, some actual accountability, but actions speak louder than words. Instead of committing to the city of Philadelphia, putting more work into his game, and coming back stronger than ever, Ben went quiet for some time and then demanded a trade in late August. Then training camp started. Even this saga would get weird because despite Embiid tweeting support for Ben, it wasn't enough. With Simmons showing up for training camp in sweats with his phone in his pocket.
Ja, Mann. Also du kannst nicht noch mehr zeigen, dass du eigentlich gar keinen Bock auf die ganze Scheiße hast.
Rivers threw him out of practice, the team suspended him for actions detrimental to the team, and they would go on to fine Simmons $360,000 for each game he refused to play in. Because yeah, Simmons just said, I'm not playing, even when he was fully healthy. These fines totaled an insane $19 million when it was all said and done. A very practical response to you being ass. After you've signed a 5-year max. Even with Rivers saying that he wants Simmons.
Dass er überhaupt noch diesen 5-Jahres-Vertrag mit 170 Millionen bekommen hat, ist die größte Frechheit überhaupt.
To play, Embiid choosing to focus on the players that were willing to play, saying his job is not to babysit. Simmons kept going back and forth, going to practice, then choosing to remain away, then saying he has discomfort in his back. Then on October 22nd, he said he wasn't mentally ready to play. And all of this just led people to believe that Simmons was pulling the excuse card all along. That he hated how Embiid blamed him for the loss to Atlanta and hated what Doc Rivers said too. So this led many to believe that
Ja, alle anderen sind schuld.
Simmons was using quote-unquote mental health concerns as a reason to not show up to practice and stay away from the team while getting back. I don't know what exactly happened, but it was messy. Oh, and let me not leave out the excuse Simmons used to explain why he passed up the open dunk against Atlanta in the playoffs. In the moment, I just spun, and I'm assuming Trae Young is going to come over quickly. Bro, Trae Young is like 4.5 feet tall. Embiid is savage though. Embiid is savage though. But NBA fans all around still had hope when Harden and Ben got traded for each other. If you look at the headlines, people were excited for both teams, thinking that it was a fair trade, that hey, the Nets got all they could out of Harden. After not playing at all last season because of some mysterious back issues that we found out after, there was some hope that Simmons would come back rejuvenated, readier than ever to play basketball again. He even
Also ohne Spaß, jedes Team, was den Trade mit Ben Simmons angenommen hat, sah danach, wenn sie Ben Simmons bekommen haben, viel, viel schlechter aus als davor, und die Ben Simmons abgegeben haben, sahen danach viel, viel besser aus, ne? Der Typ ist halt, also einfach, ich frage mich, warum der überhaupt noch in der NBA ist, Digga. Dann könnte ich auch eigentlich in die NBA reingehen, so ohne Probleme, Digga. Ich bin 6'5", ja? Ein Viertel habe ich auf jeden Fall noch in mir.
Feels good and is ready mentally after all the speculation about his mental health state. But only if he was as confident on the court as he was during this interview, because Simmons has struggled big time for significant stretches.
Sees a seam, drops it off, Simmons.
Kyrie schreit in der Wand Schule. Ja, da frage ich auch, warum.
Drops it off. Simmons. Inside. Off the mark. Simmons can't flag it down.
Ja, es ist.
Still reluctant to shoot, and lack of intensity on both ends of the court, and sometimes just looking downright long. Defensively speaking, he is having an impact. Negative 1.2 points per 100 possessions in impact switching, negative 1.3 effective field goal percentage when guarded by him. Nothing crazy, but solid. Again, sorry Nets, you traded an MVP for this. For a guy who was once the future of a franchise and one of the best young talents in the NBA, it's hard to stomach this all. After not coming off the bench a single time in his career, Simmons has been the sixth guy many times this season as the Nets try to find a role effective enough for him.
Why you bullying me?
Brooklyn's new head coach is confused, saying trying to find a role effective enough for him.
Why you bullying me?
Brooklyn's new head coach is confused.
Ja, danach wäre ich auch nie wieder auf dem NBA-Court kommen.
Saying things along the lines of, I have no idea, but I'm trying. When Vaughn, who had rejuvenated the Nets to a 17-2 spurt with KD and Kyrie, said he couldn't figure out a place for Ben, even amongst a team filled with role players, it hit home that it might really be over for him. And he has no trade value throughout the league.
Yeah,
At this point, the Nets don't even know what to do with him. You can't trade him either. But repeatedly, we've just seen Ben run away from the challenge and not accept his shortcomings.
Du kriegst den Typ nicht getradet, du kriegst den Typ nicht dazu, dass er vernünftig spielt, du kriegst den Typ nicht dazu, dass er Rebounds holt, obwohl er 6'10 ist, du kriegst den Typ nicht dazu, dass er den Ball shootet, obwohl er 6'10 ist. Also er ist einfach Arbeitsverweigerer, Digga. Der ist einfach so diese Kein-Bock-Phase, die du so in der 8., 7., 8. Klasse bekommst, Digga. Die hat er einfach heute.
Yes, he is one of the best players in the world, no doubt.
Mit 170
but he's
Millionen.
paid like one of the best players in the NBA, and now the Nets could be shutting him down. Like I've said before, if Ben had the mentality of being aggressive, he could be Giannis, and that just shows how important a mental state is in the NBA. There's still time for him to change and come back better than ever, but he can't just keep pushing every team away. If you don't want to play basketball or deal with the NBA, that's cool too. I want you to be better because you, Ben, are an exciting player when you want to be. And honestly, it's just sad to see you not hit your potential. The All-Day notification watch out goes to Big Wiggy. Thanks for the All-Day support.
Das war jetzt aber ziemlich ruckartig zu Ende. War ein gutes Video von MJ2K. War ein sehr, sehr gutes Video. Ich bin auch komplett der Meinung, ne? Also ich habe ja schon ein paar Sachen zu Ben Simmons gesagt. Ich kann halt wirklich nicht mehr verstehen, warum der Typ noch überhaupt in der NBA ist. Der verdient 170 Millionen dafür, dass er nicht spielt, Digga. Und im Endeffekt, egal womit sie ihnen entgegenkommen, ob es jetzt ist von wegen, ja, du kommst nur als 6. Mann auf dem Feld oder du kommst direkt auf dem Feld, er muss aber dann ein bisschen rebounden oder so. Er macht zwar alles, aber macht im Endeffekt, wenn er dann da ist, gar nichts. Also ganz schwierig, Digga. Auch zum Training auch erscheinen mit der Handy in Hosentasche und so. Ben Simmons, Digga. Also wirklich ein Typ mit mehr Potenzial, glaube ich, gibt es gar nicht in der NBA, Digga. Würde es Derrick Rose nicht geben, Digga, wäre vielleicht Ben Simmons sogar die größte What-If-Story. Shooter schlechter als Ja Morant, weiß ich nicht, Digga. Ja Morant benutzt einen Laserpointer beim Shooten. Ne?